Good morning, folks, and welcome to Cold Rain's Weather World, the only show that leaves you smarter and feeling better than you were when you came in. That is true, folks. Well, we've got a quick show lined up today. I've got to get out of here for an appointment, but I wanted to get something out since we have so much severe weather to talk about. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button if you like the content, and leave a comment in the comment section. It could be a prayer request, a comment about the show, a suggestion of something you'd like to see. Happy to respond to all of those, and certainly appreciate any interaction that you have with the video. Share it with friends and family. But we've got quite a bit to talk about this morning and not a lot of time to get to it, but I wanted to make sure that you're up to speed on the severe weather threat as we go through the rest of the week, and at least understand what the weekend looks like as we get in toward the end of the work week. We're going to start with our satellite picture. You can see, look at this big tire off the west coast here spinning. This is a big storm system that's out here. It's drawing in all kinds of moisture off the Pacific, throwing that right into the west coast. And this system is continuing to push in toward the northwest. And so clouds associated with that are all up and down the west coast. Little perturbations in the flow are little weak waves, is another term for that. We can see that on the satellite picture. They're just streaming in out of Canada into the Midwest, bringing cloud cover and occasional showers with those. And then an little system down here in the subtropical jet's been stubborn, and it's going to continue to be stubborn and sit here over South Texas and bring rain and potentially severe weather later this afternoon there. And then, of course, clouds continuing to be the story up here in New England. All kinds of little waves up here in Canada dropping south. You guys are just in northwest flow, and it's just bringing system after system up there. So there's your satellite picture. Rain is falling under some of those clouds. You can see that system starting to move in to the west coast. It's bringing rain and showers. Threat of severe weather up there yesterday. Heavier showers down here. If we'll zoom in and take a look here in areas like just south of Des Moines and heading into Quincy, Columbia. You guys are under the gun this morning. Emporia getting a little bit of rain here in Kansas. If we scroll down a little bit farther, we can see just south of the border, there's some rain showers, and then rain over Victoria, Houston, San Antonio. You guys are socked in with clouds and rain today, and then a few showers dropping down here from a system up here in Missouri. You can see that little line of moisture spilling all the way down in here into Kentucky and to Tennessee. So Bowling Green, Nashville, you guys are under the cloud cover this morning, getting some light rain showers. So that's the way our map looks this morning. Pretty much dry up in the northeast for a change too as well. So this afternoon, the Storm Prediction Center has two areas of concern. Basically a small area up here in Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas, where some storms could rotate at times and produce some large hail and maybe a few damaging wind gusts. And then down here in South Texas, the same. So we're looking primarily at gusty winds here. So be on the alert this afternoon in case any weather watches like severe thunderstorm watches or tornado watches are issued. But we could see the tornado threat's relatively low with each one of these. Wind threat's a little bit higher down here in South Texas, so watch out there. Hail threat is fairly high in both areas. Instability and freezing levels and potential rotation allow for stronger updrafts, and you could see some hail reports coming out later today. Now, if we take a look back here at our surface map, you see that cold front in association with that low pressure working in just offshore off the west coast. That's going to be moving onshore as we go through the week, bringing scattered showers, snow in the higher elevations. General thunderstorm activity from the southern Great Plains all the way into the Midwest, lower Great Lakes, into the lower Mississippi Valley. We probably won't see too much in the way of thunderstorm activity here today, but tomorrow that's a different story. South Texas, again, severe weather potential here and flooding with heavy rain that's just sort of persisting over the same area. A little bit of light snow possible up in the northeast and the colder side, and some light rain showers, so kind of a mix of rain and snow up here in the northeast. Temperatures this afternoon, chilly up in the northwest where the cloud cover is and some of that precipitation is, chilly along the border, cool up in the northeast this afternoon, getting up into the 40s. Really in the center of the country, that's where we find our warm weather. So if you're outside and it's nice and sunny, get out there and enjoy the spring weather. They're going to have clouds over much of the center part of the country here, but still you're going to rebound into the 80s very nicely, 80s, 60s, 70s along the south here. The southeast, one more cool day, and then we're going to really bring that warm air in tomorrow here. Let's get on a better display so we can see that. So there's the whole picture there. And tonight, overnight lows, chilly out west, warm in the middle of the country here up into the plains and the Mississippi Valley, lower Mississippi River Valley, not going to get out of the 60s for lows, 50s, and down here in the southeast, transitioning over to 40s, 30s along the border. So those are your overnight lows tonight. As you wake up in the morning, you'll see that. Now, tomorrow, we're looking at we're going to go ahead and look at our severe threat for the next couple of days. We've got a marginal risk up here in the high plains, up in the Missouri Valley and Red River Valley, and then down here another in South Texas over into Louisiana. We've got another marginal risk. This may be upgraded tomorrow to a slight risk. It would not surprise me. There's some low-level veering that is occurring. It's a pretty complex weather pattern that we're going to be in over the next 4, 5, 6 days, and there's some model disagreement, but the long and short of it is there's going to be plenty of instability that develops as we get into the weekend. And tomorrow is we're looking at here Friday into Saturday. So we're seeing already some hints of model disagreement just starting as early as tomorrow. But pay attention down here in South Texas and Louisiana and up across the upper Great Plains into the Great Lakes region tomorrow for potential upgrades to this. But you could see some hail and predominantly hail, maybe a gusty wind, a wind gust or two, I should say. And then Saturday, the Storm Prediction Center, you may recall earlier in the week, had a slight risk, here in the Midwest and basically Central Plains, mid-Mississippi Valley. That went away. They took that away because of the model disagreement. It looks like there's going to be capping in place and prohibit thunderstorm development. As we've gotten into later on into the week, it looks like there may be an opportunity to see some of that thunderstorm development. So watch out here in the middle of the country for a potential upgrade there as well as we get on in. And there's going to be thunderstorm activity here over the lower deep south. So general thunderstorm activity down there could lead to an isolated severe weather threat or two as we go into Saturday. And then the big weather day is Sunday into Monday. So big area of 15% chance or more of severe risk here. All hazards are possible from wind, hail, tornadoes. It's not going to be one of those situations where we've got a strong wound up system. Okay, we're not seeing that with big widespread gradient winds over the entire country, though some areas will have some gusty winds at the surface. We're seeing a more broad troughing scenario play out, and I'll show you that in just a second on the jet stream. And even though there will be a storm system, this broad trough is going to enact lift, just a broad area of lift over a very warm, moist air mass. And so thunderstorms are going to occur, and there's enough low-level turning in some cases where you can see tornadoes. The exact best tornado threat is too early to be determined yet, but there will be a tornado threat, there will be a hail threat with rotating storms potentially, and a wind threat with wind shear with height. So that's going to be in existence, as well as low-level moisture. We've got a big warm sector coming up, so we're going to see plenty of low-level moisture, plenty of instability across a wide area as we go on into the weekend. That is your day 5, your day 6, that was your day 4. That's Sunday. This is Monday into Tuesday, big area along the southeast. The European model is a little faster, and we've seen this time and again where the European is outpacing the GFS. So it wants to bring the system through and the front through and be all out of here Monday afternoon. The GFS is a little bit slower, and they'll eventually meet in the middle somewhere. So just watch that as we go into the week. It's a little too far out in advance to define exactly the threat areas so well, because sometimes the storms are going to move through at some point at nighttime, and we're going to see nocturnal cooling cut down the instability. So you'll see that as we get into the weekend. We just need to figure out exactly the timing of all of this. And so watch out as we go into the weekend. Severe weather chances are picking up across a broad area. This might even extend back into the Great Lakes. We'll just have to see how that goes as we move on in. Now, looking at your weather forecast for Saturday. So this is our surface map. So starting on Friday, I mean to say, this is Friday morning. area of showers in South Texas and storms down here. Continue to see areas moving through around here. Let's do this. Let's take a look at our jet stream first before we get to our surface map. So this is today. So we've got our jet stream. We've got our jet sitting here, and look at this. We've got a big area of high pressure. We've been watching this big high pressure dome bringing all this warm weather out to the west coast, western sections of the country down in the desert southwest. This big trough in the northeast bringing cooler than normal temperatures up there. And so watch what happens as the jet rolls along. And by the way, remember, we show you the jet stream so you know where the storm track is. It's essentially the storm track. North of the jet, you find cooler weather. South of the jet, you find warmer, sometimes more unstable air. And storm systems like to track along the jet stream. And so this is what happens. So we go into Friday. Look at that ridge. It starts to shift east. That's why we see the core of higher temperatures, and we'll see this in a minute, shift east. Going into Saturday, and look what happens when we get into Saturday. Now we've got a trough swinging in early in the day Saturday out here. We've out in the west and northwest, we've got a broad southwesterly flow starting to develop, bringing in moist air into the southeast and midwest. We go on into Sunday, and now we've got a storm system out here developing, which is going to help aid in lift. And we've got this trough that's working in. This jet stream is now poking into the west coast instead of coming in up here over Canada. That's bringing storm systems and little waves of low pressure in to the coast as we get on into Sunday, and then going into Monday. We've got a big broad trough here in the center of the country on the in the windward side of that, or the lee of that, I'm sorry, if down here in the downwind of that trough is where you find your lift and precipitation. So that is what it looks like here as we get on into Monday afternoon, and we see potentially a severe weather threat shift east. That's your jet, and this rolling this on out in time. Ridge out west, trough in the east as we get into midweek next week, and then a broad trough continues out west. That would lead me to think that continued rounds of showers and thunderstorms through next week are possible. It's a little too early to get into that, but that is your jet stream analysis for today. Looking at the surface map here, so as we said, Friday afternoon, showers and storms over southern Texas, a couple of waves coming into the Midwest, bringing showers there. Of course, showers coming into the Northwest with that storm system. Saturday afternoon, looking at how things evolve overnight Friday, that trough comes in on the west coast, begins to set the stage for nice southerly flow. So Saturday afternoon, showers and storms developing out in the lower Mississippi River Valley. Rain and snow across the Great Lakes, snow on the colder side of that boundary up there in the northeast. And then as we get into Sunday, you can start to see Sunday way into the overnight hours, Saturday night, we're seeing those showers continuing, and then the system taking place out here. That trough is building in the plains. And as we get into Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, you start to see a wide area of showers and thunderstorms, kind of ill-defined, but a couple of areas, one back here in Kansas and another along the just west of the Appalachians. And look what happens through the afternoon. Really see some explosive development into the evening hours on Sunday across the Mississippi River Valley, all up and down there. So that's going to be where our severe weather threat exists, and it really comes into focus Sunday afternoon into evening, Sunday evening into the overnight hours. General showers and storms out toward the east, and then rain working into the west coast. And then if we go on into overnight Sunday, that area of showers and thunderstorms shifts east overnight Sunday, and then down into the southeast as we get into Monday morning. This is still ongoing, so unstable air, even though the temperature and of the atmosphere has cooled overnight, you're still seeing, with plenty of instability, those showers and thunderstorms persist in the night along this cold front stemming from this low that's now worked up into the Great Lakes. Snow on the backside in the cold sector. Still plenty of energy coming into the west coast, bringing showers out there. And then getting on into Monday afternoon, we're seeing a renewed resurgence of the line down south. The European sort of takes the low way up here into the Great Lakes and brings the cold front down. So you're seeing activation along that cold front as we get into Monday afternoon. And then all of that pushes off. And then we'll probably continue to see some clouds hang around the East Coast. Another storm system comes in. So that is your synoptic weather map for the weekend. Be on the alert as you get into the weekend. We're going to see plenty of opportunities for severe weather of all types, hail, high winds, tornadoes. So pay attention, stay weather aware. We'll keep you updated here for sure. So, let's see, Friday afternoon, we're looking at high temperatures, chilly 40s and 50s up here in the northwest. Really, really nice temperature profile. This is almost summer-like in spots. Where it's raining down here, it's a little bit cooler in the lower Mississippi Valley and Texas, but 80s everywhere else, 70s as you get over into the eastern seaboard, east of the Alps, and then still got some below freezing temperatures for highs hanging on Friday afternoon. Saturday, more of the same. Cooler up in the northwest as the trough sets in up there and builds east, 70s and 80s across much of the south, except for where you're under clouds and rain. Very cool up in the northeast still. Eventually, we'll get rid of that as we get on into spring. It hangs on one more day as we get into Sunday, and the ridge continues to persist out here. We've got a nice warm sector that's developed. So on Sunday afternoon, you're looking at plenty of instability, particularly down in Texas. We could see some fairly robust storms develop down in here too, with really good instability. A low level jet kicks in, brings some turning in, some wind energy there. And so Sunday afternoon is a good threat for severe weather, and then cool across the northwestern quadrant of the country with temperatures in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. 90s in Texas on Sunday afternoon. So where it's not storming, it's going to be a nice weekend. But if you've got outdoor plans, keep your, particularly in the Mississippi River Valley area this weekend, have a backup plan because you might need it. Now, your temperature anomaly for the week, below normal just across the northern tier to normal, and then above normal for much of the country. And we sort of expect this general regime to persist over the spring, which is going to lead to more bouts of severe weather as we move into the next few weeks in heading out of March and into April. Not really seeing any signs of tranquility, so to speak. You may get a couple of days where you don't see a storm, but we're going to see storm after storm just crash into the West Coast and bring warm air ahead of it, moist air ahead of it, unstable air ahead of it, and a severe thunderstorm threat. So we're going to be busy here at Cold Rain's Weather World. But over the coming week, generally above normal for most of the country when you average everything out. This is a 5-day average. So that is your weather forecast for today to get you through the end of the week, into the weekend. I hope you have a wonderful end of the week, and I hope you have a nice weekend. Keep your weather alerts handy. Make sure you've got a way to receive weather alerts, I should say, and pay attention. And as always, this is Cold Rain reminding you, if other stations run 24/7, we got you covered 48/14. So you take care. Have a great Thursday, folks. We'll see you soon.